know Arkansas is going to want to be as fast as possible. And Houston, they're one of the slowest playing. Only 6 teams in the country play slower than the University of Houston. A real contrast in styles.
And right out of the gate, a foul. Chris Sanak Jr. with the reach. Our lineups in this one, there's firepower certainly with Arkansas. Kingston Flemings has had a real great influence on this Houston attack. And of course, as we noted, he is a true freshman point guard, much like Darius Acuff Jr.
And you know, both these teams, I'll tell you what, take out the smelling salts if we see any zone in this game, Rich, because I will be fainting if it happens.
That's Acuff, a floater, high degree of difficulty, and a good start.
I mean, this kid has been spectacular. 18 points a game. The big thing is his assists. He's second in the SEC in assists as a freshman and has a 3-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. He has been spectacular. But Kingston Flemings for Houston, he's been pretty good too.
Flemings feeds the post. Sanak with a turnaround. Defensive rebounding, that's something that John Calipari really wants to see improve today.
Yeah, because they want to run, and they're also playing a team that's one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. Arkansas, better defensive rebound in this game.
As John mentioned, Trevin Brazil just red hot for Arkansas. Top of the screen in the corner right now. Acuff pulls right from the three-point line.
Not a great shot. Didn't move the ball at all. Contested 3.
He can do that. Sanak, just a true freshman.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 35% three-point shooter. He's a 6'10", 6'11" kid that can step out and make those. They're going to have to get up on him. He's a lot like Brazil in a lot of ways.
Wagner crosses over, gets to the cup and scores.
And now you just saw DJ Wagner at his best. Not a great three-point shooter, but he can really go off the dribble, and he's playing off the ball this year. He was their point guard last year.
Flemings, Wagner is guarding him. Got a hand on it. Sanak again. Cleans it up.
Kelvin Sampson has 2 freshmen starting on this team, and he has been a little bit down. Their defense is still elite, but not as elite as he'd like it to be. I mean, they're in the top 10 in defensive field goal percentage. Usually they're number 1.
Acuff knifes through, and he'll get to the line. It looked like Sharp on a block. Well, that defense is not easy to pick up as true freshmen.
I think the thing that freshmen struggle with, Rich, is they don't, you know, when you're an elite player and you're playing in high school, let's face it, you don't have to guard for 40 minutes at your most intense best. In this level of college, you got to learn it's 40 minutes, it's every play. That's something that most freshmen do not understand until you start coaching them.
And he coaches him. He coaches him hard.
Both these guys.
We watched shoot-around today, and both coaches were involved and out there. Houston's lasted a little bit longer. Sanak the rebound.
Well, put it this way, who has had to indoctrinate freshmen more than John Calipari over the course of his career? Probably nobody.
Most of them have been fabulous freshmen, too. Drive there. Uzan, he's going to get to the line. Terrific sport coat as well by Calipari. Carter Knox with that foul.
And a great pass from Tugler to Milos Uzan. And Milos Uzan has been struggling a little bit for him. He's only shooting 35% from the field, 25 from 3, and he's normally a much better shooter than that.
One of the things he's continued to do well, though, is a terrific assist-to-turnover ratio. And he's a guy that can run the offense, he can play the off guard, and obviously he can defend as well.
Yeah, I mean, Milos Uzan, he was number 11 in the nation last year, assist to turnover. And so he had 10 assists and no turnovers in their last game.
5-5 start here. Houston and Arkansas. Knox feeds the post. Pringle. There's the double. Brazil at 6'10", plays a lot smaller than that in terms of agility. That's a turnover.
This Houston team, defensively, that's pretty good play. This Houston team defensively, they cover each other up as good as you're going to see in the nation.
Flemings feeds, running hook, Tugler. His first 2. They will speed you up and they will turn you over.
And you know what they do so well? You're going to see Tugler here finish at the rim with the layup there, but you'll see on that play defensively, Houston, they hedge pick and rolls hard, but they always give good help to the big guy when he's hedging outside. That's what forced that turnover.
That's the other freshman point guard. That's Kingston Flemings. Knocks around a screen. Pick and roll and a steal. Sharp.
And this is what they do. They get their hands on everything. Tugler is an all-league player. He averaged 5 points a game last year. Imagine making third-team all-league in the Big 12 and averaging 5 and 4 respectively, Arkansas and Houston.
Houston, we talk about their defense, but they're very efficient offensively as well. Arkansas, good shooting team. Acuff off balance there.
He's taken a couple of tough shots so far in this game.
Houston will run when they get a chance. Fleming.
And here they go. This is what they want to do. Number 2 in the nation, fast break points.
Knox from 3.
This kid here has improved so much. He's shooting 52% from the three-point line. Does so many things as a sophomore. Has gotten a lot better.
Fleming kicks. Sharp launches. Offensive rebound. 2 of them. Sharp gets in and scores. And he's fouled.
John Calipari did not like that call. I think they...
Really good player last year has taken it to a next level. As John noted, Brazil right now is red hot, 15 points a game.
Yeah, he's got 50 points in his last 2 games, 9 for 12 on the three-point line. As John Rothstein said, he is a huge X factor in this game.
And it should be noted, you know, Arkansas got to the Sweet 16, but they were a 10 seed, right? They were not expected to get that far last year.
Bad draw for St. John's. Let me tell you something, who was a 2 seed. Guys, you watched them last year and say 10 seed? I don't know.
Good ball movement. And a 3 goes down. DJ Wagner again.
That's a big bonus. DJ Wagner, normally 32% from 3, has come out very aggressive in this game.
Flemings kicks. That's Walker off the bench. He buries a 3.
Not normally a really good three-point shooter. He was wide. They left him wide open there. He knocks it out.
Acuff. Brazil's got that type of distance. Interior defense is terrific for Houston. Fleming's driving and he's fouled on a reach by Wagner.
Kingston Flemings can really attack you off the dribble in transition. DJ Wagner gets his arm.
And that's a good point, because Houston doesn't just walk it up and slow it down and grind it out. They get a chance to run, they will run. Hollywood's biggest party is now bigger than ever. More stars, more glamour, more chaos. Nikki Glazer hosts the Golden Globes, live CBS January 11th, and it streams on Paramount+.
Well, you know, the thing about them too, Rich, is when they do run, they're very efficient at running, and they do a great job of running off the 9.5 steals they make. But when it comes to getting rebounds, they're going to walk that ball up and make you play at their pace. The hard thing about playing Houston, they make every possession like it's life and death, and it's not an easy way to play if you're the opponent.
They've made only 1 of their free throws, though, and you saw Kelvin Sampson's sour look there. Baseline jumper, Richmond off the bench. Billy Richmond, the 3rd. If he gets hot, he can really light it up, the lefty.
I mean, just a great, versatile athlete, defensive player, run in transition.
Long one, Sharp. And it's going to stay with Houston.
And Sharp came into this game 17 for his last 34, so he's been on fire also from the three-point line.
Offensive rebounding, it's something Houston does really, really well. Brazil with a block, but the foul as well.
And
one
thing about Kelvin Sampson, his team always, every year, one of the best in baseline out of bounds plays.
You like that call?
Not crazy about it, no.
2 of 6 now from the free throw line is Houston. Carter Knox coming back in. Brazil with his 2 fouls is out. His last 2 games, 24 and 10 against Texas Tech, 26 points against Queens.
And you know, if John Calipari is true to form, he will not be back in this game. He only plays guys with 2 fouls 7% of the time. That's amongst the lowest in the nation. I got to think Brazil is gunned for the half.
Look at you diving into advanced analytics there. Love it.
I've had to grow up a little bit.
Ewan.
I like this kid. You know, Pringle's a good player. This kid probably a little bit better in terms of post moves and things like that. He averaged 14 a game at Florida State. He's a scorer.
Uzan blows by and scores. He's so versatile.
He made that look really easy.
Acuff answers.
There's some talented kids on this floor, let me tell you.
Billy Richmond, the third, guarding Flemings here, who takes him into the lane. Kicks to the corner. Uzan, got it! That's a 3. He's got 5.
He didn't shoot it well this year so far, but he is a very good shooter.
Acuff gives to Ewan, cut off in the corner. Not many cross-court passes get through Houston. That one short of the mark.
And interesting, they got Richmond has been guarding Flemings.
Sharp draws a lot of contact. He'll get to the line.
And you're going to see here Milos Uzan bringing the ball up and just blows by Malik Thomas. And then a late closeout. Milos Uzan knocks it down.
Carter Knox with that foul. He has 2 now for Arkansas. So Brazil with 2, Knox with 2. You can hit every highlight with CBS Sports HQ. Stream it free 24/7. Download the CBS Sports app to watch today. Foul trouble for Arkansas.
And John Calipari playing a lineup here with kind of 4 guards in the game. Richmond's really a small forward, but really 3 guards, Richmond and Ewan. Definitely a smaller lineup. Going to have to rebound against this Houston team.
Malik Thomas is in. That's Thomas with the ball.
These guys are everywhere.
Post doubled, ball extracted. Flemings driving. Flemings. Oh, the offensive board and follow. That's Walker. Houston right now beating Arkansas at their game. Another steal. Flemings, another bucket.
Get their hands on everything. How many deflections does Houston have in this game so far?
They got 2 fouls in the half. Now that there's 2 players back, would he bring one of them back in with Knox having 2? And that's a lefty, Joseph Tugler with another bucket.
I would think, because he's playing a lineup now that he has not played that much with basically 4 guards in the game. And it's not working out well in terms of being able to defend the paint against this Houston team right now.
Pringle, Wagner has to save that one from sailing in the backcourt. Arkansas not used to getting to this point of the shot clock at all. And knocked out of bounds. 7 to shoot. A lot of emotion on that Houston bench right now.
Well, because their defense has been unbelievable, and obviously that's what they focus in on. But there you're going to see Houston attacking the paint, which they've been doing in this game. You have to run offense against Houston. You got to reverse the ball, because if you play on one side of the court against them, they're going to kill you.
Oh, how about that for a giant Euro step?
I know John Calipari does not want to use another timeout.
Wagner has hit a couple of threes. That's a nice job to get the outlet while falling on your back. Flemings up the floor. Good play by Tugler.
You know, these timeouts with this challenge stuff now, Rich, people don't want to use them. They become more valuable. Wow, he's going to have to call one.
Floater. Uzan.
Because that challenge isn't going to mean anything if he doesn't stop this right now.
Look at that. 3 minutes without a point. 7 turnovers already for Arkansas.
And these are forced turnovers. They're not just giving it away. They're getting it taken away. There's a difference.
Acuff trying to get to the rim. Tugler turns him away, but fouls him. This has happened so quickly.
What did I tell you before, Rich? We were talking. I said, you ever see when you have a bunch of fish in a fish tank and you drop a piece of food and all the fish run for that little piece of food? When that ball is loose or they have to help, you see everybody on Houston, like those fish, come towards the ball. The ball's like a piece of food for them when it's loose or on the backboard. These guys are relentless.
In other words, every game is like Shark Week. All right, let's check in with John Rothstein. John.
All right, Rich. Well, I talked to Todd Golden from Florida this week, and he told me one of the biggest keys when Florida played Houston in the national title game last spring was not just rebounding, not just taking care of the ball, but also getting shots up. Sometimes you turn it over and can't get the ball. You can't even get a shot up to score. Lap, you know that's part of the battle against Houston.
There's no question, but I think the only way you get shots up is if you reverse the ball from side to side. If you play on one side of the floor against them, they're going to load up and you got no chance.
Corner 3 is good. Isaiah Harwell off the bench for Houston. To your point, John, just 12 shots for Arkansas in 10 minutes. Turnover number 8. Harwell again hits a 3. Bang, bang.
I think you got to use that timeout. Forget about the challenge. You're not going to need a challenge if this keeps going.
Look at this, 14 points off turnovers. 21-point lead. Corner 3 there. And that's Billy Richmond III.
Well, let's understand this. Houston averages 78 points a game. They got 40 with almost 10 minutes to go in the half.
Water on the floor. They're cleaning it up right now.
14 points off turnovers in 10 minutes. That is, if that happens in a game, you might accept it. After 10 minutes, that's a rough number.
And Houston right now, 5 of 7 from distance. Arkansas not bad either. They're 3 of 5, but only 13 shots.
You can get shots up.
By contrast, Houston's got 21 shots. They've made 15 of them.
That's a problem.
Yes, I know, Houston. I get it. Uzan draws a double. Chase McCarty, another freshman in the ballgame for Houston. Screens for Uzan. Step back, it's a 2. Acuff the rebound. Richmond in full flight.
You know, you can't run unless you get some stops. That time, Arkansas got a stop. They were ready to go.
Richmond with the reach. Fouls Sharp.
I mean, running is great, but you have to make a stop in order to run, and you're going to see Arkansas. They will get that thing out. Billy Richmond is tremendous in transition like that, and then he's trying to put pressure on, trying to make something happen. Clearly a foul there on Richmond. Not a really good choice.
#16 foul for Arkansas.
Can't stop your dribble there. I mean, Arkansas trying to pick up the heat now.
Sharp. Richmond takes it from him. Arkansas ball.
You see, Billy Richmond is really trying to set a tone here for Arkansas of being aggressive and putting pressure on his man. Does a great job there. Gets the foul.
Now you saw Sharp stepping out of bounds. Very close.
That was close.
Sharp sits down for the first time. 8.5 minutes left in the first half where Houston has just exploded against the number 14 team in the country, Arkansas.
And you know, I watched that Texas Tech-Arkansas game the other day, Rich. That was a big, big-time game. It was a great win for Arkansas. Look how they double so quick. They double the post whether the guy can score or not. That's how aggressive Kelvin Sampson coaches his team.
Knox is back in with his 2 fouls. This is Knox. Nice pass Wagner, the three, it's off the shot clock. And a timeout.
They're playing very hard, and I don't know at what point in this game they were guarding. I must have missed something.
The irony is, when you watch Houston play, you think about, well, what team in history does it remind you of? And you think of 40 minutes of hell and Nolan Richardson at Arkansas.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They picked you up more full court, but the intensity on the defensive end, Rich, you're 100% right.
Flemings, long three.
Kelvin Sampson has been, what he's done, that's a great job there to Malik Ewing.
Ewing, the baseline run, finishes with a flush. And maybe Arkansas has a little bit of a spark here.
This is a rare mistake. Tugler comes up a little too far. That's kind of giving a little bit of too much help. Probably did not need to come up that far, and that's what allowed Ewing to sneak in behind him.
This is a 14-point lead, but it was 21 just about 2 minutes ago. It's a 7-0 run right now for the Hogs.
Kelvin Sampson was on his guys today big time about helping too much.
Harwell, the miss. Acuff, the push. Richmond's. Acuff follows. 9-0 run. Here comes Arkansas.
Now they picked it up. They're a good defensive team too. They've picked it up on the defensive end.
Razorbacks travel well. You can hear the fans. And a reaching foul there. Looked like Malik Ewing.
Much more aggressive Arkansas defense. See, no need to stick your hand in there. They had him in trouble. He was at the half-court line. Don't bail him out with a foul.
Milos Uzan at the line. 5 of 9 is Houston from the stripe. Free throw up and good. Spend the night with CBS. Join hosts Bert Kreischer and Hardy as they celebrate with today's top country artists. New Year's Eve live, Nashville's Big Bash on CBS. Uzan with 8 with that missed free throw.
We know Arkansas is really good in transition, but they're going to have to score in the half court.
Acuff taken over. He's got 11 now.
I mean, this kid is just so talented. I mean, this is pretty good defense here, to tell you the truth. How he's able to finish that floater from 10 feet, that's a tough shot.
I mean, the stuff this guy is doing as a true freshman is amazing. 18 points, 6 rebounds. His assist-to-turnover ratio is terrific. Free throw is up and good. Let's check in with John Rothstein.
Well, Rich, I talked to John Shire from Duke last night about Darius Acuff, and he said the most impressive thing about him as a freshman point guard, he doesn't need a screen to score the basketball. So crafty, so dynamic. Lap, you saw it on that play right there.
Yeah, there was no screen there. That was all just him.
To the buckets. Tugler back in the game. He's got 6 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 turnover. That's significant because Arkansas has turned it over 8 times.
Oh, Houston's in a matchup zone. Whoa, whoa, where are the smelling salts? I need the smelling salt. They haven't played zone 1 possession this year. Not one. Nice change by Kelvin Sampson. Haven't seen that much.
Ewing. Baseline drive and bucket.
I got a feeling he's not going to do it the next possession. I'm going to tell you that.
Down 21, now down 10. You see the run.
Well, they stopped turning the ball over, and Houston not as good in the half court as they were early on.
Flemings rotates. Walker. And a defensive rebound. That's so important. Carter Knox playing with 2 fouls. Richmond's had some good minutes off the bench.
And interesting, he went to Carter Knox. He's not bringing Brazil back.
Again on the baseline, Ewing. Body's tangled up. It's a held ball. Arrow stays with Arkansas.
Yeah, John Calipari go with Carter Knox.
You can see Brazil, he's their hottest scorer.
It just, you know, when you sit this long, you wonder, is he going to be ready to get it going in the second half?
Acuff, Wagner, good rotation, Knox way off. You and I had the same cue.
Yeah, we had the perfect view of that wide left.
But a foul as the ball sailed out of bounds. Joseph Tugler has picked up his second for Houston.
Well, he definitely's done for the half. That I could tell you.
So things are trending upward right now for number 14 Arkansas.
You know, Kelvin Sampson will not play Tugler anymore with those two because he needs him aggressive defensively in the second half.
That's a turnover that went off the leg of Ewan. Yeah, you're right, Coach. And these aren't even advanced analytics. This is basically what Kelvin Sampson preaches.
Yeah, when you need a guy, when that guy is that good a defender, you need him to be aggressive. You can't have him get that third foul at all.
Chris Sinak Jr. is in, and he's got 2 fouls. Number 5, middle of the lane. Sharp badly misses a 3. You rarely see that.
Yeah, no, he's been struggling.
Acuff crosses over. 2 freshman point guards going at each other. Knox hard to the bucket. That's a Houston ball.
I'd like to see Arkansas run some half-court offense when they're not out in transition. When they're in transition, they're great. But their half-court offense, they got to start running some stuff. Going a lot of one-on-one in those situations.
Flemings. Sharp. Oh. That was right in front of the Arkansas bench.
They're going to look at that. Calipari's going to appeal it.
Well, if it's a foul, he can't appeal it.
No, you can't.
Oh, he can't challenge it.
He can't challenge it.
He can appeal, though.
He can appeal to see if it's a flagrant. That you can always do, but it would cost him a timeout. He did not appeal it. He started to. He was circling the finger to appeal, not challenge. You can always appeal. You can't always challenge. He started to think it was a flagrant and wanted them to look at it, but he thought better of it because he'd have lost the timeout if he was wrong, which he would have been.
One more look.
Yeah, that was not, he'd have lost that appeal if he'd appealed.
Sharp. One more free throw. For all that Houston has done offensively, they've struggled early at the line. Better now. Lead 12.
This is where Arkansas has to be a little better in the half court. Again, another turnover.
And that last touched Ewan. Looked at it, and
the out-of-bounds challenge by Arkansas is successful with the Arkansas's ball on the end line with 15 seconds on the shot clock.
Boy, you got to give John Calipari a ton of credit because to challenge something in the first half, usually it's got to be like a goaltending or something you're 100% sure of. This out of bounds, don't get me wrong, the referee's got it right, and John Calipari was right, but boy, he took a pretty big chance on that to challenge it. Give him credit, though. He keeps his timeout, and he gets another challenge.
Give his staff credit, too. Yeah. They've got to get to the tablet.
Or even the kid. The kid probably said it, too.
And Acuff, boy, that challenge really pays off as Acuff curling off the screen, buries a jumper, and it's back down to a 10-point game, 14 for the freshman Darius Acuff.
And you know what the difference in the game is, Rich? With 10 minutes to go, there's another turnover. With 10 minutes to go in the half, Houston had 14 points off turnovers. You know how many points they have off turnovers now?
And that's a walk. You see the pivot foot of Ramon Walker dragging. And that's what I said. I mean, for an up-tempo team, they don't turn it over much at all, does Arkansas?
No, both teams are under 10 a game. That's really good.
Acuff launching the 3. He's been really good from distance this year, 44%. 3 minutes now without a field goal for Houston. Sinak. Remember, Tugler's on the bench with 2. Spinning, the freshman falling away. Arkansas, and a foul in backcourt by Houston. Both players go down. And it looks like Sharp banged heads with Ewan.
Yeah, banged heads. Wow, that hurt.
Gene Steratore saying this is inadvertent, so not in the flagrant category, and definitely not targeting.
No,
too,
no.
for that matter.
Yeah, right.
But here, you know, one important thing around this, that's the second foul on Sharp. And obviously, he'll be looked at as he gets to the bench.
You're going to play without Sharp. You're going to play without Tugler. Well, just take a look. I mean, Houston's got a small team in the game. They got Walker, who's 6'4", and he's on the inside of the foul line on this free throw.
Houston has 3 players with 2 fouls right now. Sinak, Tugler, and Sharp.
And Houston doesn't normally foul a lot. They are very, very good. They don't. People only shoot like 12 or 13 free throws a game against them. So normally not a team that fouls.
Give credit to Arkansas's bench. This run has been made without Brazil. Knox was out for a long time as well. John, you've got something?
Yeah, Rich. Well, Malik Ewan played limited minutes in the last game due to a cold he was battling this week. But in the 3 games prior to that, he averaged 10 points and 6 rebounds. Arkansas staff feels that this is a burgeoning piece to monitor as the season moves forward as a 3rd big lap in the rotation.
Yeah, oh, I definitely agree with that. I think he's got tremendous skill around the basket. He's also a very good passer.
And the lead's down to single digits. Ewan driving. Ewan gets to the line.
I mean, this kid averaged 14 and 8 at Florida State and shot 60% from the field. He is a good player. You see a great move here. Sinak not ready really to stop him off the dribble. Gets him off the ground, shoots 2.
We'll see Miller with the foul for Houston, his first. Tomorrow, 2 Eastern, women's basketball on CBS Sports Network. Madison Booker, number 2 Texas. This is not an easy road trip lap. They're headed to South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits. Not just the travel, but the Jackrabbits 10-3, and they've been in 6 of the last 7 NCAA tournaments. Flemings. John, what's your update?
All right, Rich, Emmanuel Sharp just got checked out by the Houston trainer after banging his head. He's fine. He's all good to eventually go back in the game, Rich.
Certainly good news. This is Mercy Miller. Shot clock down at 10.
Sharp won't be back, though, with 2 minutes to go in the half.
Chaotic possession. He's got 2 fouls. Uzan, foul on the rebound on Arkansas. Maybe it's Richmond. It is, and it's his second. Excuse me. It's Richmond's 3rd, having come off the bench.
He's been a spark, though, in this game. Let me tell you, he's the one who got it started for Arkansas defensively.
Remember, Brazil went out first with 2, then Knox went out with 2.
I'll tell you, I love Richmond, and he's not a good shooter. You know, he made 5 threes all year. He's better than he was last year. He made 5 the whole year last year, but he is all energy.
Walker hit a couple early 3s, and he hits a couple free throws. 9 points for Ramon Walker Jr.
Yeah, that was a big swing because Ewan missed his 2 free throws.
Ewan up top. Acuff. Wagner in the lane. Got up in the air, and he's bailed out when that ball went off of Cedric Lott.
Really lucky. Left his feet and really did not know where he wanted to go with that one. Very fortunate there for DJ Wagner.
Kelvin Sampson's had to dig deep on his bench. Lott has only appeared in 6 games, and here he is in the final 2 minutes. In a first half that's had wild swings of momentum. A 21-point lead for Houston. Arkansas's run to get back in it.
If Houston can get out of here down 8, they'll have done something.
It's Lott. More free throws coming.
And I'll tell you, they're having all kinds of trouble with Ewan. He's a very skilled kid. He knows how to score down there. Him and Pringle are a pretty good combination together. They are both different. This kid probably the better offensive player on the box.
6 of 10 for the free throw line is Arkansas. Kelvin Sampson, even when he had the 21-point lead, he had the same look on his face and the same intensity as he's seen this lead cut in half.
You know, he knows, no offense, he's not playing Jackson State or New Orleans. He knows who he's playing.
Arkansas fans that have traveled here.
Yeah, I tell you, Arkansas really traveled for this, even though it's hard to tell with all the red on both teams.
4.5 minutes without a field goal. Uzan with a 3 and it's out. Tugler. This is Acuff. Minute 20 left. Thomas is a scorer. Wagner is a catch-and-shoot guy.
Tough defense.
Ewan, left hand, and it's out, but he's back to the free throw line, and Lott has picked up another foul.
Lott is having all kinds of trouble. Ewan is the guy that they have not been able to stop at all.
Acuff, 6 from the line. You know, Arkansas hasn't hit a bucket.
This kid's free throw shooting is killing him.
They haven't hit a bucket in almost 3 minutes. They've been doing all of their damage lately from the line, except for Ewan, who is really struggling from the line.
Yeah, I mean, they can't guard him, but he's got to be able to convert these.
He's 4 of 8. 8-point lead. Ewing does have 10 points.
He's been effective.
Flemings driving. Flemings scoring. Wow.
Yeah, a little too easy that time. Didn't make any passes, just drove right by Acuff there for an easy layup.
To a 10-point lead. 45 seconds left. Crazy fun first half. The Prudential Center in New Jersey. Houston and Arkansas.
Oh, that was a travel.
Ewan spinning. Wild hook. Lott bounces out of bounds. And this is going to stay with Arkansas.
You're going to see Kingston Flemings here just drive all the way by Acuff. You know, we've talked a lot about Acuff. This kid Flemings, good player too.
That's Lott coming off the bench. And he was out of bounds. Shot clock at 15. An 8-second differential. Strong drive there. Houston, 20 seconds left. Flemings into the lane. He's going hard, and he walked, and it's a turnover.
That's the situation where the freshman made a mistake. You could have ended up the half with the last shot, get out of here, up 10, maybe even 12 or 13. Should have pulled that one out.
Ball's in Acuff's hands. Final 7 seconds, first half. Acuff, go time, to the bucket, scores! For the fabulous freshman, Darius Acuff Jr.
Well, they got it down to
last 11 from the field. This is Arkansas's pace, but Houston's up 8. It's a tempo battle. Arkansas likes it fast. Houston likes it slow. And out of the inbounds, Flemings misses the layup.
Really good set play by Kelvin Sampson.
So they're 2 out of their last 12. No turnover there. Wagner has it. That's a deep 3 there.
Rushed.
Knox.
You know, he was kind of open, but it was kind of rushed.
Sharp, unguarded.
Yeah, that's not good defense. You got to get back. You don't expect Houston to run a lot, but you got to get back and you got to be ready.
So the lead's back to 10. Acuff brilliant in that first half. Corner 3, got it. Acuff now with 19. That's his first 3. As close as Arkansas has been in a while. Hard drive there.
Take a look at the transition defense in one area, and they forget about Emmanuel Shoppers there by himself. It's too late once he catches the ball. Just too easy. Got to communicate transition defense.
With Arkansas, Brazil's back in. He missed most of the first half with 2 fouls. Knox had 2 fouls. He came back late in that half. Oh, this guy played really well. Ewan, it's a foul. Was it a shot? Or was it a pass? And I think it's going to be a pass, and that means inbound. Or maybe...
Yeah, that's a pass.
That's a pass.
Let's see if Brazil can get going. Now, he sat for a long time.
Ewan driving hard. Bumped! He's been to the free throw line a lot in this game. They're 4 of 8.
They're having all kinds of trouble guarding Malik Ewan. Give John Calipari credit that he's got him out here because he was one of his best players in the first half. Tugler with 3 fouls. If I'm John Calipari, I keep going to this kid, trying to get him to pick up that 4th. Houston's defense is completely different when he's not in the game, and he was out of the game at the end of that first half.
Houston's best defense lately has been sending this guy to the line.
Yeah.
He's really struggling. He's 4 of 10. Flemings, great pass. Tugler with the finish.
Now that's 2 weak transition defenses that time for Arkansas.
It's a 4-point swing. You miss 2 free throws and you give up a transition bucket like that.
They've given him 2 layups already in the second half.
Ewan again, he goes to the line.
But it doesn't. It's like a turnover. If you're not going to, I think that's on Sinak. Oh no, it's on Tugler. That's big. I didn't think that was a foul. I think the foul happened earlier when he bumped him. Another miss.
It's 4 on Tugler. Ewan continues to miss free throws. 17 of 21 was Ewan from the line coming in.
That's unbelievable.
It's 4 of 11.
And now Houston, much smaller. They brought in Walker, who's 6'4", 6'5". He's going to play the 4 spot now. So this is a much, much smaller team for Houston, and their best defender is out.
So Ewan, you can see it. He's missed 7 free throws. Look at Flemings going down the lane, and he's going to the free throw line.
You know, I know we've talked a lot about Acuff, but I tell you, Kingston Flemings, he had 9 points in the first half and 1 turnover. He's a really, really good player also.
2 best players on the floor in the first half were the 2 freshman point guards, Flemings, and we told you about Acuff's big night so far. First foul on Acuff. Flemings out of San Antonio, a 3-level scorer. He drops in his first free throw. His best games have been against their best opponents. 22-7 against Auburn, 25 against Tennessee, 21-8 against Florida State.
He took over that Tennessee game. He had 25, as you said. He was great. But right now, the other thing about Houston, they're a great offensive rebounding team. That hurts their offensive rebounding with Tugler being out of the game, too.
Brazil.
And you know what, Rich? You got to think he's going to sit till maybe 5 minutes to go. Maybe.
Is it a held ball? Is it a walk? Is it a timeout? It is a held ball, and Arkansas gets the possession. Brazil has not scored in this game. He hasn't taken a shot in this game. And he was scorching hot coming in. His last 2 games, 17 of 24 from the field, 9 of 12 from 3, and he hasn't had a shot. Ewan to catch. He's going back to the line.
They cannot keep this kid off the line.
Malik Ewan's been in the middle of everything.
Well, I mean, this kid, as I said, was a big-time player at Florida State. He averaged 14 and 8 and shot 60% from the field. Tough guy to guard, and he was a pretty good foul shooter. So this today is really the difference in the game, if he's making fouls or not.
5 of 12, and he knocks that one in. Again, he was 17 of 21 coming into this game. And maybe the young man has found his rhythm at the line. His last 2.
You know, they got to get Brazil going. He's only played 9 minutes in this game because of those 2 fouls, and he really has not gotten into this flow. He sat for a long time in the first half.
So Ewan does hit 2, 55-47. Uzan against Wagner. Gets in. Ramon Walker Jr. had a really nice first half off the bench. Flemings will take that 3. Haycutt. Not a great pass.
No, it was supposed to be a bounce pass that didn't bounce till it got to his feet.
Sharp pulls. Got the 3.
Big swing there.
Amen. 11 for Emmanuel Sharp. Leads back to 11. Ewan won't be denied. Not fouled. Has the rebound. Now he's fouled. And he's got a bucket. He's dominating right now.
Let me tell you something. John Calipari found something. Pringle's a good player, but he does not have the offensive arsenal that this kid's got. Both hands around the basket, really good feet, knack for scoring.
Sanak picks up his 3rd. And remember, Tugler has 4.
They got a problem.
Houston does.
Yes, Houston has a problem. And you know, Lott in the first half, he had trouble guarding this kid too, so they're just going to keep going at him.
And Ewan's found his stroke all of a sudden. Well, he's going to sit down. 16 points, 7 rebounds.
I'm telling you right now, when the under 16 comes, he'll be back.
Houston was so good offensively in the first 15 minutes of this game.
They took advantage of all those steals and were knocking out transition 3s. They haven't been great in the half court either.
Sharp, give him the ball.
This guy, when he gets going, one of the best in the country.
14 now for Emmanuel Sharp. He's 2 of 5 from distance. Wagner on Walker. Muscles it up. That's a foul.
That's going to be Lott's 3rd.
He came in crashing the boards, literally. And so Lott's got 3 now.
Kelvin Sampson's going to end up with 5 guards playing in this game.
Tugler 4, Sanak 3, Lott 3. Khalifa Sacco is their next big, and he's out with a knee injury. They may have to go small.
David's going to go small.
Soon, Pringle's back in. So is Malik Thomas.
He's been struggling, Malik Thomas. Last 2 games.
Arkansas is really crashing the board. Timeout here.
For Houston and the head coach in waiting, Kelvin Sampson's son, and he told me that Emmanuel Sharp is one of the sole beneficiaries of Houston playing with 2 point guards, Flemings and Uzan. You can see he's getting more looks. The stats back it up, Rich.
That's a great point.
You know, the other part too, and we talked about this at shoot-around, Houston does not do a lot of portaling, if I can make that a verb. They have 1 guy in this year. They don't lose many guys at all. Sharp, whoa, 25 feet, no problem.
You know, they got to start face guarding this guy because he's that kind of player. You can't let him touch the ball. Don't help off him, don't leave him, especially with the team they have in the game now. Just play face guard him.
Boy, it felt like it was a 7-point game. It felt like just a couple minutes ago.
And it also felt like a couple of minutes ago, Emmanuel Sharp was like not doing anything.
Well, now he's got 17 points and 3 threes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this kid is feeling. I mean, this is deep. You can't leave. He was way, way too alone there.
some great names on this, right?
Oh, yeah, and that's a lock. He's going to be the most prolific three-point shooter, barring, knock on wood, any injury. He's going to be the best three-point shooter in the history of Houston.
So Marcus Sasser on top of that list. Both these coaches always seem to be surrounded by really good guards. And Sasser, Quentin Grimes, Jamal Shed, the LJ Cryer. You just go back, follow Kelvin Sampson's career. And then John Calipari, Devin Askew, Severe Wheeler of late.
Oh, yeah.
DJ Wagner and obviously Acuff here, but you go back to
all the good
guards
of
Rose and Wall and all those guys.
Oh, yeah. And Rose, MVP in the NBA.
Bledsoe.
Not bad. Now Maxey going crazy for the Sixers.
Uzan. Arkansas has the rebound, 12-point game. A lot of basketball left here. Brazil, no.
You know, that was one of those ones I want to try and get involved in this game a little bit. It was not a good shot. You're not allowed
to away
challenge.
from us. Yes.
You're not allowed to challenge me every time. You can always appeal.
My goodness. Free throw shooting, really an issue. 14 of 24, 58%. And Arkansas is a really good free throw shooting team. 77% is really good.
Really good. Put this way, the best free throw shooting in the country is probably around 80.
Now here's the possession. Can they?
Here's that matchup zone again that we saw in the first half for Houston. I think it's a pretty good move.
Wagner entry to Brazil. Wagner gets it back. Time on the clock. Wagner in the lane. Missed the layup. And the rebound to Walker in Houston.
You know, think about this. They're having trouble guarding Malik Ewing, so let's go zone. A lot harder to get a big guy going in the low post against a zone than man-to-man.
So after all of that, Arkansas doesn't get anything to show. And Sharp misses a three.
And the zone obviously helps you with your foul trouble, too.
Acuff.
Now, you know what the best way to beat a zone is, Rich? Beat it down the floor, and that's what Acuff just did.
21 for Acuff, 10-point lead. A ton of time here. Just under 14 minutes left in this game. And another reminder that Houston had a 21-point lead in the first half and looked like they were blowing the doors off of Arkansas. Sharp, step back three, no, the tip will go. Brazil has the rebound.
Really good defense by the freshman Acuff that time.
Houston without a point in almost 2.5 minutes.
Now they're back straight man-to-man.
Acuff kicks to the corner, knocks a three.
He's had a rough night shooting the ball.
Lot still in there. The bigs for Houston are in foul trouble right now. As Flemings draws contact. These two true freshman point guards.
You know, usually as a freshman point guard, you're going to see a lot of bad decisions. You don't see a lot of bad decisions out of these two kids.
Chris Sanak on the bench with 3 fouls. Joseph Tugler's got 4. Uzan's shot blocked. And a whistle and a foul on the loose ball. That's Malik Ewing, who continues, aside from his free throw issues, to just have an incredible night.
You know, Kelvin Sampson, he's got to be really happy because he's able to keep Sanak out. He's able to keep Tugler out all this time, and still he has that 10-point lead. He's going to keep them out as long as they can maintain this thing 8 and more.
DJ Wagner's 3rd personal foul. Sharp almost looked like a walk. Ewing has a rebound, but he's going to get called for a foul. He pushed off on Locke.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call.
Ewing's first personal. Chris Sanak is back in with his 3 fouls.
Tugler, we probably won't see him till there's 5 minutes to go.
Sharp driving, contact. Ewing with the foul.
Emmanuel Sharp is really starting to exert himself here. Yeah, Ewan had no shot staying in front of him there.
Ewan second. Sharp to the line. 86% free throw shooter. Every one of his spots on the floor, whether it's at the line, whether it's a mid-range, or whether it's a three, he can really shoot it. He's got 17. Honor the icons of a generation: Sylvester Stallone, George Strait, Michael Crawford, Gloria Gaynor, and the band Kiss. President Trump hosts the Kennedy Center Honors. CBS Tuesday, 8/7 Central. 19 now for Emmanuel Sharp.
And they just keep this lead at 10, 12, 10, 12. And here's that matchup zone again. See why they're all pointing all over. That's how you know it's a matchup. Everybody's supposed to have somebody in their area as a man.
Good entry, and Ewan just kind of threw it up. He had no one guarding him.
Sanak, let me tell you something. That was what you would call a big-time rebound. He pulled it over the rim.
You can see the field goal shooting not great for both teams. Flemings!
So these two freshmen.
Again, you go back to that flagrant, missing the free throws, not getting a bucket. And just like that, the lead's back to double digits at 14.
Boy, Malik Thomas averages 14 a game. He's got 0 in this game so far.
Houston relinquished that right and opportunity. What does that mean? If Houston is seeded in the South region of the 2026 NCAA tournament, the Cougars would then be playing regional games in the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 at the Toyota Center in downtown Houston. That is a major, major thing to remember from now until Selection Sunday, Rich and Lap.
That is a major thing.
Major is right.
And a short commute. Yeah. Malik Thomas for Arkansas.
His first basket.
With a 3. Cuts the lead down to 11. Flemings gets in again. Flemings under the bucket.
You know, Arkansas has had all kinds of trouble keeping these guys out of the lane. All of a sudden, Flemings has gotten to the basket a couple of times.
Acup's got 21. Flemings got 15. These two terrific freshman point guards. Little zone look. Houston's mixed that in tonight. Thomas driving and missed it. Brazil rebound and put back.
You know what? They got to get some stops now, Arkansas. And that's what they have not been able to do lately, especially off the dribble.
First points for Tevin Brazil. Flemings again.
He's getting in the lane at will. I mean, Kingston Flemings has been living in the lane lately. I mean, that's a pretty easy shot there. And then he gets fouled here going by his man again.
John brought that up earlier in the first half. I think it applies to both these point guards. You don't have to screen for these guys to create something.
Matter of fact, I think these guys like it better when there is no screen. But I mean, Kelvin Sampson's got to be ecstatic. He's sitting here with a 12-point lead, maybe going to be 13. Tugler hasn't played hardly at all. Sanak has been in and out. He's had foul trouble.
Right, he doesn't look ecstatic.
No,
right? He's
as ecstatic as he's going to be anyway.
If that's ecstatic.
Yeah, that's ecstatic for a coach. During a game, that's ecstatic.
Yeah, he's as intense as they come. 13, the lead for Houston. Knox.
Not close.
Offside rebound, put back. Malik Thomas exerting himself.
Yeah, he's starting to get involved here. But the bottom line is they got to make stops, and they have been able to keep this kid Fleming in front of him.
It feels like we should be under 5 minutes left in this half. We're not even under 10 minutes yet.
I'm saying this is a long game.
Straight on.
Cannot stop them.
Sanak is a mid-range guy. He'll shoot the 3 as well. Flemings with the foul. Acuff on the drive.
I tell you, he doesn't do it. John Calipari doesn't really play zone, but the way they're getting beat off the dribble right now, if you had one, it'd be a good time to use it, or try it anyway.
Point guards are obviously at a premium in this sport. But for these two coaches, it's imperative that they have good ones, because that makes everything go. The long line of point guards for him, you have to kind of be like Kelvin Sampson on the floor when you're his point guard.
No doubt about it. You know, both these coaches are great coaches, and they're both really hard on their point guards.
And they both have true freshmen. Houston's hit 3 of their last 3 shots. Flemings starting to create. Still going to the bucket. In and out. Rebound, put back, Sinak.
So here's what happens. Because Fleming's able to get to the basket, somebody comes over to help, loses rebounding position, and you give up a basket. They got to protect this lane a lot better than they're doing.
Acuff against Sharp, smothered, throws it away. He can shoot and he can defend.
So you get the drive to the basket, and Brazil has to come over and help. You lose all your size underneath. They get an easy putback.
Well, Arkansas has somewhat cleaned up the turnovers from the first half, but still they just can't crack this lead.
The half-court defense, Rich, has not really been up to snuff in the second half.
Uzan a rolling hook.
I mean, am I watching the right thing? How many layups have we seen here in the last 3 minutes?
Uzan has 10, and the lead has been rebuilt to 15. Thomas against Sharp. Steps through and scores.
You know what? They're not doing bad down the offensive end, but they got to get it done here.
Just under 9 minutes left. Flemings going. Corner kick. Walker 3. Flemings! 19 for the true freshman point guard. Thomas curls off a screen. Sharp has the rebound.
The first half was about turnovers. The second half has been about Houston getting the ball into the lane at will.
Approaching 8 minutes. Houston has not been crawling up the court. They've been racing up the floor into the lane. Good rotation. Sharp looking for a 3. Oh my gosh, that is a 27-footer.
That was one of the better defensive sets there. They stopped them off the bounce.
Richmond's back in, and he throws it to his coaches. Tell you what, right now, Houston is not going to give up the lead. 80-65. Brazil just took his first shot of the game about 4 minutes ago. He averages 15 a game. He's been their hottest scorer. He has just 4.
And Carter Knox, who's been so good all year, has really struggled. And now Houston, they've used this zone. They start zone, then they go man-to-man. They're all pointing. It's kind of a switching man-to-man. And now they're man-to-man.
That's Brazil, 6'10", backing in. Left hand won't go. Houston, a really good rebounding team. Flemings caught something in the eye. He's all right. He's been a one-man wrecking crew lately.
He has been.
Steal. Acuff.
That was one quick steal by Acuff.
Career high. Darius Acuff, 25. 4 assists. 3 turnovers. Uzan. Kick into the corner. McCarty. How about Chase McCarty off the bench? His first bucket, and that's a 3. Acuff missed it badly. Brazil comes away with the rebound. He's going to get to the line and shoot free throws.
You want to know how this three-point shot was made? when you get here, stop it right there. You got problems if the ball's going to get in that deep. And look at it, everybody's watching the ball, and nobody's watching here and get a wide open three because getting in the lane. That's been a problem. Arkansas's ability to defend the dribble has been a real issue here in the second half.
Trevin Brazil hits the first. He just hasn't been in a position to score. He obviously had foul trouble in the first half.
It hurt him. You know, you never know. You take him out for 14 minutes. Some kids would be fine when they start the second half. Who knows if you played him a little bit in the first half, would he have been better in the second half? Who knows?
He's taken just 3 shots. 1 of 3. Does have 6 rebounds. Uzan against Brazil. Sharp comes to get the ball. It's a whistle. Arkansas doesn't necessarily like it, but Sharp's going to the line.
That's a travel. I thought he traveled in real time.
Not reviewable,
no,
and not appealable.
Not appealable or reviewable or challengeable.
Wagner with his 4th. John Rothstein.
Yeah, Rich, obviously Emmanuel Sharp was at the epicenter of last season's national title game loss to Florida. He and the whole Houston team was devastated after the loss as expected. But Kelvin Sampson told me that he specifically did not say anything directly after the game to the team. He gave them their time and then addressed them at a later moment. He didn't have anything specific to say after such a devastating loss, Rich and Lap.
What are you going to say in that situation? There is nothing to be said.
Acuff gets to the line. You know, for both of you, John, and for Lap, both of these coaches are not heavy portal guys. There's a, you know, you got freshmen, both terrific freshman classes. I think for Kelvin Sampson, in this day and age, he's built a program. Guys stay here and play here their whole career. That's unique, isn't it, John?
It is, Rich, and I think this says everything when you look at the totality of Houston's roster this season. 14 players are on Houston's roster. 12 of those players have only put on a Houston uniform. In this climate, to have that type of retention, that type of continuity, it speaks volumes about ultimately what it takes, Lab, to win at the highest level.
That is, you need the combination, and they have the combination down right. They've got guys back. They took Milos Uzan from the portal, who obviously was a help. They got these great freshmen now. That's how you do it. And Calipari's had retention, too, on this roster. He's got Richmond back. He's got Carter Knox back.
Ewan! Well, it's somewhat of a coming out party for this guy. 18 points to go with 8 rebounds. Still a sizable Houston lead.
And Houston going to take their time a little bit. And here's where having those 2 point guards really helps in this kind of situation.
Uzan, wow, buries a 3.
I'll tell you, they have really been going after Trevon Brazil. When he has switched to a guard, he has really struggled.
10 of 23, 43.5% from distance is Houston.
I mean, you usually don't see Houston get 87 against high major competition like this.
Ewan in. One thing, though, about Houston, sometimes when it does get into the 90s, they feel comfortable. I mean, they can get to the 90s.
Yeah, just usually they don't force as many turnovers against high-level competition, which they've done today, and that's where they really got out in transition a lot, was from those turnovers. But, I mean, they only averaged 75, 76 a game.
All right, there's still a lot of time, and Kingston Flemings, the fine freshman point guard for Houston, just picked up his 4th personal foul. Isaiah Harwell getting off the bench for Kelvin Sampson. And Ewan's big night continues.
Yeah, you got to get this kid out for 2 minutes, especially sitting on a 15-point lead.
Ewan now with 20. There's the foul trouble for Houston. Is there enough time for Arkansas to make a run here? Knox, fumbles, kicks. That's a three. Wagner short.
Big miss.
Every time Arkansas has an opportunity like that, they've kind of missed it. Free throws were an issue earlier.
And really, this whole second half without their best defender.
Now Houston content to run some clock. Sharp driving, blocked. Acuff blocked it. Clock at 1. That's a violation. It's a turnover, but it also ran a ton of clock, so Houston probably not all that upset with that.
That was some block by Acuff, I'll tell you.
Kelvin Sampson still ecstatic there with the 87.
Is that ecstatic?
No, man, he is really fun to watch run a practice. I mean, the shoot around today for Houston was essentially a practice.
Oh, that was practice.
Richmond three, that's good. Long way to go for Arkansas. Well, that's a start. He's got 10.
They got to really start doing it on this end.
Lead is 12.
And now you got Flemings out, but you still got Uzen, who played the point really all last year.
Arkansas, good three-point shooting team so far. Sharp driving, unguarded, untouched. 22 for Emmanuel Sharp. Looking for threes. Wagner's a catch-and-shoot guy, and he does just that. Buries the three. He's got 8.
Yeah, the question is, too little, too late. It's
3
only
minutes.
11.
Yeah, 3 minutes left. Houston's a tough team to extract the ball from.
Interesting. Does Kelvin Sampson go back to Tugler? He hasn't. Well, here comes Flemings back.
Both Tugler and Flemings with 4 fouls. Clock is down. Walker's three. Oh, goodness.
Nothing better than holding the entire shot clock and knocking down a 3, which they are tremendous in the last 4 seconds of the shot clock.
Richmond goes hard and gets the bucket, and he's going to get to the line.
Job of getting in the lane.
Arkansas has not done a good job of free throw shooting. Walker goes down. Did he roll over?
Wow, I thought that was a travel.
It's a held ball. Houston's going to hold the possession.
Boy, it looked like a travel to me. I thought he had possession of that. Let's see here.
You can stay down, but if you roll over,
that's a travel. Yeah.
our Gene Steratore concurs.
I get calls right every now and then, you know. I mean, even Gene agreed with me once in a while. He didn't agree back in the day.
I was just about to go there.
No, back in the day, he didn't agree with me much.
It's a kick. 2:22 left. Arkansas 19 of 33 from the free throw line. Flemings, Sharp break the press.
Just got to get a stop and then go.
Uzan
Another
feeds. Sanak misses. And Arkansas take advantage.
Kelvin Sampson losing his mind.
Acuff, that's a charge. Was he in the circle, though?
That's what John Calipari's saying.
And that's challengeable. And he's not.
Oh, he was not. He was not in the circle.
So
it's challengeable, but in the last 2 minutes, the referees can look at that without you challenging it, which normally would happen. They're not. He was out of there, but the referees on their own. Doesn't have to come from the coach.
Well,
the referees, I don't think that the coach, I don't think it was challenged by John Calipari. I think the referees are using their right to look at it in the last 2 minutes on their own like they can with the goaltender.
All that said and done, on the replay, doesn't it look like he was out of the circle?
I kind of thought that he was in. I mean, let's see here.
Let's see.
There he is there.
Out.
Oh, he's out.
Let's bring Gene Steratore in. No more height jokes, Gene.
No, not at all. And actually, I'm agreeing with Coach Lapis again, back-to-back plays here.
Wow.
So we're on a roll early this season, Coach. But you're absolutely right. Inside of the last 2 minutes of the half and all of overtime, officials can go on their own at that point. No coach's challenge required. I think Joe Lindsay does a good job there. He went to the calling official, said you had a charge. Let's just look at it because we can too, just to make sure. Good job of officiating. And I like to call in real time. I thought it was a charge too, fellas.
Yeah, I think it was a really good call. And the referee just came over and said, yes, we decided to look at this. It's not a challenge. It's from the official. So that's a call stands. That was a good call.
And when the officials do initiate it, it's termed a review.
Review.
So we have challenges,
yes,
we have appeals, and we have reviews. And we have Houston that just has made plays when they've needed to after building that big 21-point lead. Anytime the Razorbacks make a run.
And think about it. They've done it with a team that they don't usually. I mean, Walker has been really good in this game. Off the bench, they played without Tugler the whole half. He hasn't put him back in since he got the 4th foul, which was eons ago.
Uzan and Fleming so good at handling the ball. And Flemings, that's blocked.
They got to look at that. Well, they didn't make a call, so they. I thought that was goaltending.
Kelvin Sampson wants them to look at it. He thinks that is a goaltend.
Well, he can challenge it if he wants to. Oh, I don't know. That's close.
Minute 20 left, 12-point game. Acuff. I think what Kelvin was asking for is, hey, how about one of those reviews?
Yeah.
Right?
The thing is, they would have had to make a call on the floor,
yes,
which they didn't.
That's the wrinkle, though,
yeah,
right?
That's the wrinkle
in the rule.
Yes.
Would you like to see the rule changed? In that, hey, because you're helpless as a coach if they don't call it. You can't then challenge at all.
You can't challenge it or anything. Yes, exactly.
So a minute 9 left. Houston still holds. Acuff, 26 points, 6 assists, 27 now. Career high for this freshman. Houston's going to call a timeout. Minute left. Kelvin Sampson. And the LSU and South Carolina, the only schools not to make it last year. And by the way, the Big 12 having a really nice non-conference. Really nice. They've got 4 teams in the AP top 10. Arizona, Iowa State, Houston, and BYU. Keep away right now. With a 10-point lead. Good ball movement. Walker a clean 3. Missed it. Sharp tipped it loose. Offensive rebound. Fresh clock.
They do a good job. They had a guy in the middle of the floor as an outlet guy against the pressure.
And this is going to be a really nice win on Houston's non-conference resume. Well, Arkansas with wins over Louisville and that comeback win over Texas Tech. But for the SEC, 35 and 41 against power conferences this year. Look what they did last year, Lap. 73 and 27.
That's why they got all those teams in.
And of course, Houston's still somewhat young at the point guard and at the big spot with Sinek, the freshman, the 6'11 freshman, and Flemings, their fabulous point guard. He's a true freshman.
They have 3 tremendous guards, and they play defense like there's no tomorrow. That's the bottom line.
Wagner with a corner three. Is this Houston's best game of the year? Kelvin Sampson didn't think they'd played that well up until now.
No question. They played really well today. On both ends.
Fun game here, big runs. Houston went up 21, Arkansas reeled them back in. But Kelvin Sampson, just for the second time ever, these two coaches facing each other. I mean, they've coached over 20